Iron Trader. It is Monday morning, so it's time to go to work. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look here at the old NQ, which is pretty much flat. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation advice on the stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, and wow, look at this gap and go situation. Okay, so we got as high as 122,955. Okay, but we didn't quite make it to that 123,615 level. Okay, so that's going to be next on your upside. Now, when you crack that, you're going to be going to 125,500. That'd be the measured move up this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Left head, shoulder, head, right whole shoulder. But again, when you're dealing with big numbers like this, that could blow right through that, hit 130, 135 very, very easily. But you have to close above this 123,615 in order to do that. We just don't want this topping tail, like we had on the daily and we had on the weekly. That's not good. Now, here on the downside, well, all we do is we just follow the candles all the way down. So right now you're sitting at the high on that is 121,255, and Bitcoin sitting right now at 125,540 level. Okay, so you're pretty much a little bit just right above that area. Now, if we lose that, we just follow the candles all the way down again, 124.15. We'll come over here to the bottom, top of that candle at 119,785 level. And then we're going to look at the bottom of today's candle. Okay, so you have 119,100. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of that candle, 118,405. There's your fill. Gap, fill. Then we have your 21-day sitting right here at 117,904. And then we have your 8-day sitting at 116,694 level. Okay, now, again, obviously, if that's lost, then we just follow these candles down. You come down, you have 114,685 level, and then we have 113,860. We have your 50-day sitting right there at 111,941 level. Now, you look at the RSI, oh man, you only had 50.63, got plenty of room to run to the upside. The green is still below your red, but that can curl up. That can take it much higher. But let's just see how this whole situation plays out today, because it's very, very early. But always watch that gap, that fill, the 21-day on the downside and the 8-day on the downside. The upside, well, you're going to be watching today's high, 122,955, and then there's your big retest target at 123,615, and you have to get above that, close above that to go to that 125.5. Now, here on the weekly, well, you can see how the weekly is looking very, very nice. Look how strong that 8-day is. Okay, once we crossed that 21-day, we went right on up here. Very, very nice. So this is the key. By Friday, we want to hold that 115,719. That's going to be very, very key. So far, we're holding it very, very nicely, and that's going to be the key. Now, like obviously, if it's lost and we come to the top, you got at 112,345. We have 110,150. We have 108,960, and obviously we can come all the way down to that 104 level. But right now, very, very bullish chart. Bottom left, upper right, looking very, very good. I'm long that BITX, looking very, very good trade. So, anytime you see we have this consolidation, okay, anytime that it pulls down, buyers just come right into this Bitcoin. Now, again, Bitcoin here, the T-Man said that he wants to try to get this into the 401k plans so we can, so that that's going to be very, very popular. It's going to be treated just like gold and silver and any other commodity. And I think Bitcoin will go much higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, we had a nice little rally last week. Okay, but you notice they put that topping tail in. Okay, so I always point out that topping tail. See what we had here? See topping tail, and what's the result? Topping tail. So far, we're coming on down. Now, there was a little bit of discrepancy. They're talking about putting some kind of a tariffs on gold or commodities. They kind of clarified that last week, and that was the big run-up. Went up right up to that 35, 34 level, and now she's coming right on off because I don't think they're going to be doing any tariffs on gold or silver. So I think that was kind of like a misread situation, and now she's coming up. But always watch, and when you have those topping tails, unless you close back above that 34, 31, this is going to be going lower, and obviously that's what it is. Now, what we really want to watch is on the upside, we want to watch that 34.26 on a closing basis, I should say. Now, if we can get above that, then we can come to this level right there at 34.47, and then we're really looking for that 34.51 level. Okay, then we can go to today's high. You have 34.66. We venture up there at 34.83, and then obviously your big retest at 34 level. But now you can see where she's coming down. So we really want to watch that 8-day today on a closing basis, and then we want to watch this key 21-day. 33.87, and then we have that 50-day right below it at 33.71. We start losing this. Okay, then when we come to the bottom, 33.31 level, and then we have 33.24. Then we have your retest down there at 33.01, which lines up very, very nicely with your 100 SMA. Now you can see here where we're rallying up nice, but now she just curled right off, but you're only sitting at 53. That's not overbought or oversold. Your green is still over your red, but it's kind of rolling over. The whole key is going to be see what's going to be happening today on this 8-day and on that 21-day. If it can hold that and hold that 50-day, this all this key support. But upside, remember, when you see those topping tails, okay, that's the time that you either got to take a shorty or you just get out of your long trade. Now, silver. Well, silver's doing the same thing because it's pretty much following the gold. Now, you can see here how we had this nice big rally up, and then Friday we had this indecision candle. Now, today you can see this big lower low. Look at the situation. Came down, but so far we're holding that 8-day on it. Okay, so it has to close above that 37.74 level. If that's lost, you're going to come down here at 37.32. Then we have your 50-day at that 37.12 level. Now, we start losing that. Well, then we'll come down to your 36.76 level, and then we have 37.24, and then your big retest here at that 36.28 level, which is basically the bottom of that candle. But again, right now it's holding that 8-day, which is good. Now, on the upside, really want to watch the bottom there at 37.93. We watch the bottom of Friday, 38.18. But realistically, this 21-day is key, 38.25. You have to get back above that. If you can, then we hit today's high, 38.56, and then we look to Friday's high at that 38.87 level, which is only 5 cents off of that resistance level at 38.82 level. Now, if it keeps right on rising, obviously we just hit that 39.72 level. We come up here at 39.52, 39.66, and then you retest 39.91. But right now, it's just kind of like rolling over. Same way you look at the RSI, it looks like it's rolling over. The green, it never did cross that red, show momentum, and now she's coming off her big high. It's pretty much like the gold kind of a situation, okay? So, see, I'm not really what you call a big-time gold or silver trader, but what I do is I do take the SLV for the long, and I'll take the the GLD there for the gold for the long. But just remember, you always watch that news, Well, that was a big reaction last week is when they were going to put tariffs on gold and silver, which didn't make a whole lot of sense, or they're going to something like that. And then she just came right on off here. But always watch these topping tail situations. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil and we have natural gas. Now you can see here crude oil is trying to work it. Seasonality really is in play on the long side here yet for crude all the way to the end of September, which is basically hurricane season. But right now it doesn't look like any hurricanes are gelling up here. We have some bad weather, some really high heat going on, but it doesn't really seem to be with the hurricane situation, which is basically how it affects oil is disruption. You have to shut down rigs, you have to do this, you have to do that kind of a situation. That's what disturbs it. Now, so far we have what we call just an inside day. Your high and low is the inside of the previous day. So what we're really watching here is we're watching on the downside. We're watching our Friday's low, 62.77 level. Okay, so next level is going to be right there. It's going to be 62.50. If we lose that. And then we come down here at that 62.17 level. We'll come over to the top of this candle. You're looking at 61.72. And then we look to the bottom of that candle, 61.06. And then we have your retest down here at 59.74 level. Okay, now again, if this keeps right on selling, we have targets all the way down here at that 55.30. And we have 55.12 all the way down. But again, I really think that eventually this is going to go down into the 50 market. Now remember, T-Man and Putin are going to meet in Alaska. Now, if they can get some kind of a ceasefire or some kind of a end this war nonsense going on in Ukraine, okay, for 2-3 years now, and what have you gained out of this? Once they can get that kind of stop, and then what the deal will be Russia can start pumping more oil. Well, right now Saudi Arabia is cut off all their volunteer cuts. They're adding 541,000 barrels a day. So you're really flooding the market here with crude oil. Saudi doesn't care. What they're looking at is market share. They're not really looking at price today. Okay. So realistically, unless there's some kind of a disruption, some kind of anything that goes on to take crude higher, this looks like crude is going to be trading lower. But again, this is crude oil. That's why I like trading it, because you just never know. Now, upside here, we're watching this Friday's high, 64.58. This is going to be the key level is at 64.93. You can see last time how many times that it hit it. Once it got above, look how nice it held for support. Okay, but again, can become very big resistance. Now we look at this 8-day. See how that 8-day crossed over, the 50-day, 21-day crossed over. Very, very bearish, okay, situation going on here. So even if you can get above the 64.93, we have that 65.44 sitting right there, 66.27 sitting right there, and then we have that 50-day at 66.70, 67.84. So you have a lot of resistance. The price now is below all the simple moving average, and we have a big downtrending chart. Now, 41, that's not nowhere near oversold. That could go way lower. The green is below your red. That could go way lower. So let's just see how this 8 all shakes out. So we just watch Friday's candle. That 64.58, 62.77. That's what we're trading against today. You crack above it, we have 100-day, 8-day, 21-day, 50-day, 200-day. You crack below it. All we do is look to the left of the chart here, and you work yourself down. Okay, Natgas doesn't seem to want to get off the old schneid here, but we're holding so far. We're holding this key level at that 2.89. If that's lost, you're going to come right to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at basically 2.85, 2.86 area. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Now, if that is lost, right, all we do is look right to the left of the chart here, and then your next target is going to be right there at 2.68. We'll come right down here. You got right there at 2.51, and then we can come all work yourself down to 2.26, and we have 2.21, and you can work yourself all the way down to the retest. Now, again, natural gas is the same thing. You need some kind of a catalyst to get this going. Look at this chart. You can see how that's descending, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, descending chart. Look at it, 100-day downslide, 50-day crossed over, 21-day, 8-day. Nothing positive about this unless we start getting back above this 8-day at 3.03. Okay, that is going to be your resistance. We get above that. Next one is 3.18. Your 50-day 3.14, and then we start coming right into that 3.48 area. Your 200-day and your 100-day. Right now, descending chart. Nothing looking very, very bullish. See how nice we had this? High, lower, higher, higher high, higher high, higher high. We had a nice uptrending, and then we put that topping tail. So always watch that topping tail. The same thing that's happening on gold right now. That's very, very negative for the market. Same way here. See, another topping tail. Very, very negative. And then what happens? Okay. So on the downside, watch that 289 on a closing basis. Next target is going to be right there at that 285.86 level. Okay. Now you look at RSI. That's nowhere near oversold. That's got a ways down. Same way with here with the MACD. That has a ways down also. So again, we're just trading this range. Okay, so just watch that 289 on the downside and watch that 8-day on the upside. Okay, so you're going to be trading that range. We crack above it, your next range target is going to be big target. It's going to be that 21-day. You get above that, we have resistant levels here at 3.26, 3.33, and then we start hitting that 3.41, which is your 50-day, and then we can rise above it. But right now, it's got to prove itself before you can do that. Okay, let's take a look here now at the old NQ. Okay, here we have the old NASDAQ futures. Now, you're up here about 20 right there right now, okay? But again, we have very, very strong resistance. We're looking at that 23,845. Now, we crack above that. Obviously, your target is going to be 24,000. Okay, very, very simple. Now, you can see how small these candles are getting, and it didn't take much news. This is when you say you're going to put the tariffs on Canada, and look what happened. Boom. Now, she was rising up here, but just remember, this doesn't stay like this forever. Okay, so she came right on down. Now what we're coming into is like a negative divergence. So if this keeps rising up higher and say we hit that 24,000, watch this RSI because this negative divergence will play out, and just like it did on natural gas, and it can come flying right on down very easily. So on the upside today, what you're really watching is 23,845. You crack above that, you're going to 24,000. Okay, downside, this is your big key level, 23,384, your 8-day. And your 21-day at 23,338. And then we just venture in on down. What you got there is you got that 2384 level. You got that 2345, and then we can come down to your price channel at that 22,775, and then we have your 22,710, which is your 50 SMA. But again, we just have this retest. A lot of times, if you have this rise on up like we've had, then it comes flying down, and then it wants to retest that high. If you can't get through that high, she's going to come flying down. Now, we're coming into this time. You have about 6 weeks here, which is actually the worst for the market. It's that end of August, September, October period. So always just be a little bit leery. Use stop losses. Put money in your pocket. Take profits. Don't let that money slide past you. Kind of situation. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at midday trading, and we'll take a look at some stocks. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.